The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try.
Hey, welcome to my show. This is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page TV show. To my left is my co-host and good friend, Terry Doran.
Well, hello, Patty. Nice to be here.
And to his left is John Dickmeyer. Hey.
Hello, Terry, and hello, Patty.
Hello,
John.
So we are here to talk about TRACK. T-R-A-C-K. Short form for
Three Rivers Art Center for Kids. Non-profit, tax exempt with our Friends of the Third World, kind of our umbrella organization.
That's right.
And TRACK raises awareness and works with kids to help combat child abuse. And we'll be doing some programs, specifically a tie-dye t-shirt project with Boys and Girls Club coming up
maybe in
soon.
September,
We're
October.
excited about that.
In the
yeah.
school year, yeah.
And then in November, John Tuhawks, our friend, who's been here last year in November at IPFW,
Right.
sponsored by TRACK and Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs, ODMA for short.
Oh, he's got a good
And
one.
yeah, John was here last year, performed. He's a flute player, storyteller. He's inspirational. He's funny. He's entertaining. Last year, he talked about his horseback riding adventure out in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And showed video while he played the flute and talked. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
And they liked him so much at IPFW that they had invited him back to IPFW.
And November 17th. And check for the time. I'm pretty sure it'll be at in the Wall Ballroom in the Union Building.
Ballroom, to be sure. And so, John Dickmeyer.
Well, it's a must-see. We don't see enough Native Americans in our culture.
Yeah.
And they have so much to give us. They were here first before we were, and it's an extremely rich culture. Plains Indians, but also the Miami that lived around here.
Definitely.
So, if you're not doing anything else, that's the place to be. You need to show up and see John Tuhawks.
As we said, IPFW sponsors that, and it's free, and you cannot have a better program for the price, and you could pay a lot more to see John Tuhawks than zero, I'll tell you that.
Oh, he's excellent. And in December the 8th, we are having back John Tuhawks again with his special guest, Johanna Kurkela. She is from Finland, and they will be doing their Noel concert, a Christmas concert, at Sweetwater. Would you believe it? That's November the 8th from 6:30 to 8:30. So we're advertising them. We have a little clip of Johanna Kurkela and John Tuhawks doing their thing. this is what we're expecting to see when they come. So we're going to have the clip, hopefully, to be playing now. So take it away.
Kauan sitten minussa aavistus jo sinusta. Silloin tuntemattoman tunnen nyt ja tunnustan. Sä olit vaara liian suuri kiertää ja liian houkuttava ohittaa. En tiennyt kuinka kaikki voisikaan niin palaa. Polttaa kaksi niin hehkuvaa ja kaunista saa kirkkaana loistaa. Onpa auringon päivät päällämme ei pettyisi koskaan. Kauan sitten jotenkin tuntematta aavistin, että illan harmaassa tulet vastaan pelottaa. Jos joskus pimeässä yksin seison ja liekki sammunut jo kyllä on, en tiedä voiko sitä eloon saada kukaan toinen. Katsi niin hehkuvaa ja kaunista saa kirkkaana loistaa. Onpa auringon päivät päällämme ei pettyisi koskaan.
Now that was beautiful singing, and the flautist, John Tuhawks, he's a good singer as well.
He is
Yeah.
good at everything.
He's
Excellent at
Lakota
everything.
native in South Dakota or North? South.
He's Lakota, yeah, South Dakota.
And this pony ride that they went on last year was because of the Wounded Knee. What happened?
Wounded Knee was a massacre in the United States Army of Native Americans at a place called Wounded Knee in South Dakota. It's a terrible
Yeah.
page in our history, and they commemorate that Native Americans by riding, I believe, from Wounded Knee to Pine Ridge. I may
It's
have
over
that
100
wrong,
and
but
some odd miles.
yeah.
Well,
It
they
may,
did it in the dead of winter.
Pine Ridge isn't that far, so it's somewhere. Anyway, it's a commemoration ride, and John participated, and he had hardly ever ridden a horse, if ever, and part of what he told was funny, part of it touching.
And a little scary with
And
it being
scary.
that cold.
Oh yeah, he was so cold he thought he'd lost use of his legs. I mean, it's hard enough to ride a horse, let alone when it's like freezing. I think he said like 0 or below out there.
The weather in the Dakotas in the winter it can be unmerciful.
Oh my goodness,
It's
yes.
not
Yeah.
nice.
That's what it sounded like.
Both Dakotas, north and south. And to do anything at that time of year is challenging.
And Pine Ridge is probably the most famous Indian reservation in the United States. When Indians were removed, back when the settlers and everybody was wanting all the land and took it, the ones who survived the Indian Wars were put on reservations, and Wounded Knee Pine Ridge, is the poorest area in the United States, lowest life expectancy. People Native Americans are just trapped between two worlds, like John mentioned at the beginning of the show. They've contributed so much, but they lost their entire way of life. And there you are.
And
so
John Two Hawks himself, when he was quite young, growing up, of course, he was abused by members of his family. So that's why we communicate. Track communicates with John Two Hawk quite smoothly because he was abused. And Track is here to bring awareness of child abuse to Fort Wayne. Right.
And we want to say that John, this is a benefit for Track. John is donating his time and proceeds. I believe the concert is free, again, no charge. An amazing opportunity for people in Fort Wayne. One of a kind opportunity to see two cultures. Male, female, two different singing styles, all come together for one incredible evening. And John sells CDs and he'll sell flutes, handmade flutes, T-shirts, and the proceeds they're giving to Track, and we'll split it with Johanna, who needs her travel expenses paid, and so it's going to be incredible.
So, John, what have you been doing for Track lately?
Well, what I need to mention here is that is the connection that we oftentimes don't realize what the connection is. The music and the arts are the therapy for the abuse. That through the arts we find inspiration to get through the abuse and to become better people. And
True.
People don't realize what happens in the abuse. In previous programs and at previous times, we've spent our emphasis on what is it to be abused. And now what we're doing is we're focusing on the therapy. And that's the important thing. Therapy, which comes from music and dance and literature.
As well as psychologists.
It soothes the soul.
Yes.
And to my mind, it's the spirit, the soul of the individual that needs the therapy.
And that's what tracks use. We say our mission, using the power of art to combat child abuse, with programs just like this. That's very well said, John.
And we also have mental health counselors working in the wings for us as well. We went to chat with Senator Dennis Cruz and what they say, Tara.
Who?
Dennis Cruz.
Right, Senator Dennis Cruz.
Yeah.
He introduced a child abuse law, which didn't pass, but we're working with Senator Cruz to try to still get that passed. That was just last year, and bills go through a lot of obstacles, and so we're still hopeful it will pass, and with some educational wordage in there. So as Deborah McMahon from the Board of Health was on the show with Senator Cruz that Patty's talking about, and she suggested let's have some educational wordage too, because we need to prevent it as well as punish it. I mean, let's prevent it, and then if we haven't, we'll punish it. So I thought that was a really good idea, and Senator Cruz did too.
Yes, and can you zero in on his shirt? It says track. It was done, well, the artwork was done by Terry's daughter, Cayman, Doran, and she did a real good job. And we had that sewn into each T-shirt and done by a wonderful person who does embroidery. So this is nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. Thanks for mentioning Cayman. That was nice. I was thinking, John, as you were talking, in May, I did a show about Indians of this area called The Legacy of Anthony Wayne, my favorite guy. And anyway, we did it at Fryman Square, but the point is we had some speakers, and we said some things I think were insightful and good, and but the star of the show really was a young woman named Kayla Godfroy Norman, a Miami, native Miami, who danced. She said very little. I mean, I think she did make a few comments about her artistry of creating the look and everything, but her dance, just everybody talked about that. Nobody talked about what we talked about on the panel, and I think that shows your point, that the power of art, as people mention, it stirred their soul. It showed Kayla's love of her heritage, just came through so powerfully in that dance.
Well, if you go back to the Old Testament, to the story of David and Saul, David played his musical instrument, which soothed Saul's evil beast, and that's what it does. Music and art have the power to touch the soul, and it's the soul that needs touching.
Yeah.
We can stop a good part of the nasty things that happen in this world by appealing to the spirit in human beings. And by getting through to that, I believe that a lot of the bad things that happen in society, not just child abuse, but issues of violence, can be ameliorated.
That's a good word.
No, I agree. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
It's amazing, really, and it's simple in a way. I mean, you don't have to have the artistry of John or Johanna or Kayla. I mean, drawing, writing in a journal, anything that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Is worth doing.
Encouragement, inspirational, positive thinking, love, compassion. Doesn't have to be Christian or Muslim, whatever. Compassion needs to be brought back, because abuse of children is not right. I don't accept it, because people take their anger out on someone who they think is weaker than them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so not right. That is not right. And we have to curb our anger. And what do you suggest we should do?
Well, I like the idea, for example, I mentioned the Boys and Girls Club. You know, this is simple, it's tie-dye. We have some people who know how to do it. And for the child, the kid, they're going to make a work of art, and each one will be different. And that's another thing about art. If we have 10 kids, the 3 of us, and we say draw a tree, you're going to have 3 different looking trees. So you make a tie-dye t-shirt, every one of them will be different. And this is a work of art they can wear.
They can do it as a unit.
Yeah, as a unit.
But separate, they have their own individuality coming out. Just like painting and creating music and lyrics and what you write. It's therapy in itself to help. And we also want to help the parents who have done the abuse, or their peers who are doing the abuse, because they have to be helped as well. It's not just the kids who I know the kids are being abused, or their peers by their uncles or whatever. Everybody has to be handled properly with kid gloves to show that it has to stop the abuse. And we have to help everyone, not just the children. Right?
Yeah, and the power of art really comes to life when it's shared, like the concerts we're talking about, and the dancers, and the tie-dye t-shirts. It'll be a group of kids, but each one will be individual t-shirts. And so, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, but it's also exciting, and we're trying our best.
Patty, we've talked about this as therapy, but you can also talk about art as a substitution for behavior that is negative behavior, because artistic behavior is positive.
Right.
We need to put our emphasis on the positive in our society.
Right.
And you've mentioned a number of words. Love is the best of those, but there's a love in the art. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the feeling that you get from that is much more rewarding in the long run from what you would get from expressing a negative behavior. We all know what the negative behaviors are. We're not here to talk about them, but we are
They do exist,
to
but
talk about the
yeah.
others and emphasize those.
Yeah.
so we have a couple more minutes. So I just want to say this is a very interesting and very enlightening show. We're trying to be positive. We are positive for the children and their families. What do you have to say?
Well, let's, I don't know if we can get it on the screen, but you can find more about track and what we're doing and what we're talking about today on Facebook. Three Rivers Art Center for Kids, just /Facebook.
Yeah.
And you'll see the video that we played. You'll see the information that we're talking about. See a lot of past shows we've done. John has helped so much in various ways with technical support and driving his van, hauling murals and all kinds of
And you,
things.
John, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, you can have a lot of fun doing positive things, and that's what I want to mention. Be positive in your life. Show the good side of who you are, and appeal to the good side, the good spirit of the people that are around you. That's really what we need to do.
I like that.
Yes.
Because we all have bad sides to us. We all get mad. We all want to take something out on somebody else. So you've got to curtail that and get that good part of us out and utilize it and honor it.
Well, this is towards the end of the show. I'd like to thank you, Terry, my co-host.
Thank you, Patty.
And my guest, John Dickmeyer. We'll come on the show again as time goes on, talk more about track, Three Rivers Art Center for Kids. That's who we are. We have our own website, and we also have Facebook. So we hope to see you next week. God bless, and have a good one. Bye.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above.